This is happiness, to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Mood Prep. My name is Dave Nixon, and we're finishing up the week of quotes and pulling them apart with a quote that I came across a number of years ago in my life. I don't know how old I was. I think I was around 14, 13. And back then I actually remembered I used to quite like poetry. I remember mentioning this on a podcast early last year sometime. But I'm going to go over this specific quote again. Passage, if you want to call it that. It's by George Bernard Shaw, and the quote is called "A Splendid Torch." So I'm going to share it with you, and then quickly going to pull it apart from my point of view and what it means to me, and hopefully you guys can do the same thing. So let's get started. George Bernard Shaw, "A Splendid Torch." This is the true joy in life, the being used for a purpose, recognized by yourself as a mighty one. Being a force of nature instead of a feverish, selfish little clot of ailments and grievances, complaining that the world will not devote itself to making you happy. I am of the opinion that my life belongs to the whole community, and as long as I live, it is my privilege to do for it whatever I can. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die, for the harder I work, the more I live. I rejoice in life for its own sake. Life is no brief candle for me. It is a sort of splendid torch, which I have got hold of for the moment, and I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it on to future generations. George Bernard Shaw. So, I remember coming across that years ago, and for some reason I really enjoyed it. And I think there was a certain part of service in there that I quite liked at that point. Later on in life I kind of probably figured out why. But either way, the interesting thing around that was how it sort of hit home. So I'm going to pull it apart, and what I'm going to do is start off with this idea of this is the true joy in life. That being used for a purpose, right? So being used, a lot of people will often have offense to that, not want to be used. We often talk about loving people and using things, not using people and loving things. But look what it's followed up with. Being used for a purpose. Okay, so there's some sort of purpose behind it. There's a why. There's something powerful behind it. What's even more important and more powerful than a purpose that you're being used for? It's a purpose that is recognized by yourself as a mighty one. So you've made the decision. You have chosen. That is the true joy in life. That is the fucking meaning of life, right? Because while everyone's asking for the meaning of life, don't wait around. Give your life a meaning. So in that case, choose a purpose which is a mighty one for you to use your life as. And then being a force of nature instead of a feverish, selfish little clot of ailments and grievances, complaining that the world will not devote itself to making you happy. Right, complaining, and I think we're seeing a big shift of this at the moment in the space. I don't know, in the current Western world, where there's this whole like I've got rights, but we're not talking about responsibilities, right? So it's sort of like going that hurts my feelings, not realizing that whoever is, you're not in control of my feeling. I'm in control of my feelings. I'm in control of my emotions. There are 4 things within my power: thoughts, speech, behaviors or actions, and emotions or feelings. Now, what's interesting here is basically not going, well, feelings just arise. They do, but we give meaning to things. And this is why when we first, let's say, break up with someone, a lot of things are very painful, but over time, that pain goes away, right? Our feelings aren't hurt anymore because we've accepted the situation, we've moved on, we have given it a different meaning. Now, I'm not saying this is easy, but I'm saying that this is what happens. And so in this space, right, the world will not devote itself to making you feel happy. It's not its fucking job, guys. That's our job. It's our job to go and find peace within ourselves, and however the fuck we want to do that, to step into our healthy masculine, to our healthy feminine, to the integration of both of those things. It is our job, right, to devote our lives to making us happy, and in turn, which is the splendid torch, we help other people become happy. That's the thing. Being happy isn't selfish. In fact, it's extremely selfless, because what we do is find a pathway to peacefulness that we can actually teach other people to go do themselves. Being anxious and nervous and spiteful is actual hard work. Being happy is actually quite simple. The problem is that we make it complex as humans. moving on from that, it says here, right, I am of the opinion that my life belongs to the whole community, and as long as I live, it is my privilege, right, privilege, to do for it whatever I can, right? That is service. Fully service to the community, to the collective. But my life, I'm of service. I'm choosing to do that based on my purpose, and it is my privilege. What that means is that if I'm living my privilege, then I'm at service of myself, and I'm at service for everyone else. And I can do, as long as I'm strong, I'm healthy, I'm useful, like everything that I spoke about yesterday, I can now truly contribute to a purpose larger than myself. But I have to look after myself first, and if I don't, then I'm not in a position to really support other people. When we support ourselves, we support others. When we support others but neglect ourselves, it's only a matter of time until we have to go back and look after ourselves, because it's no one else's job to look after us. And then it goes on, I want to be thoroughly used up when I die. For the harder I work, the more I live. The harder I work at my purpose that I have recognized as a mighty one, the more I live. Can you see that? When we choose how we want to live, and we work at that, the more we actually live, because we're doing something that fuels us from deeper within, that allows us to be constantly present, rather than hoping that the clock is just going to move fast today so I can get home and watch fucking TV. I'm not picking on people in that space. I'm just saying is that, like my conversation of the day, is that living for you, really, truly? Or are you just already dead and you're just waiting to die? There's a big fucking difference. Right, but the thing there is working for a purpose recognized by ourselves. Right, now how about this? It's a sort of splendid torch which I have got hold of for the moment, and I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing on to future generations. He could have said light, but that doesn't specify the size of it, right? The thing about a fire and a candle, and what he mentions it before, it's not a brief candle, it's a torch, a splendid one, is that if your torch is flaming, it can actually help flame other people's torches, right? But when we try and dim our torch, not to offend other people or to fit in with the crowd, no one fucking grows. No one no one loves, no one develops. Everyone is in this place of constant jealousy or something associated with that. And because of that, we aren't able to actually move forward, not only as an individual, but as a collective as well. When we help ourselves, when we truly support and light our own torch and take our responsibility of our happiness on board, then we can actually help everyone else have a splendid torch as well, right? That's the thing about it. That's the beauty of it. And make it burn as brightly as possible, because one day it'll burn out, right? One day it'll burn out. So fucking make it a beautiful burn in that process. And a beautiful burn, and it attracts more sticks. If you get my analogy, you're going to help other people have their own splendid torch. And then before handing it on to future generations, because that's how you leave a legacy, not necessarily as George Bernard Shaw, but as the torch, right? And that's why today we're standing on the shoulders of giants that allow us to do the things in life that we want to do every fucking single day, and we should be grateful for that. And if we're not, then that's me shooting on you. And if we're not, then it's probably time to maybe go sit in a dark spot for a little while and think about just how fortunate every single one of us is that we're in this world at this specific time when we can speak to people all around the world, travel all around the world, have all the beautiful experiences that we have access to. We're living in good times. And to finish it off with one of my favorite quotes, we're currently living the good old days. Team, if you found this podcast beneficial, it would mean the world to me if you'd pass it on to someone else that you think would also find it beneficial. Otherwise, I'm out. It's sweaty in here. It's been like the hottest summer, I swear. Until tomorrow, peace and pizza. Kick today in dick. Kick today in the dick. And slay the dragon. I'll see you soon.
Everything at once, be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.